What's up, everybody? This is Whiskey in the Six. I'm Rob. Today I'm here with Beth Havers from Glenfiddich. She's the ambassador for Canada.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
We have a special treat today. Newly brought to Ontario, the Project 20.
Yes.
Not Project XX,
No.
like most people think. And the IPA. Both Glenfiddich expressions, both part of the new experimental series. So before we get into talking about these, maybe we'll pour them out and then we can talk a little bit about you if you don't mind.
Sure. Okay, we'll start with the IPA as we chat.
Yeah. Do you want me to pour this out or you know?
Whatever you do. You want to pour the Project 20? I'll pour the IPA.
Let me see how much you want. All right. It's like a moderate 2 second.
I always say pour as much as you feel. It is 3:30 in the afternoon.
3:30 in the afternoon. Yeah, we're beyond the unacceptable time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So.
And it's Thursday.
It's Thursday. It's almost the weekend, right?
Yes, it's the summer. We're having a great time.
That's right. Yeah. So, how did you become an ambassador, especially for such a big company like Glenfiddich?
So I've had a long career in the beverage alcohol industry. I started off in university, actually in the summers. I worked as a summer rep, just as a merchandiser in the LCBOs. So that was a very long time ago.
Nice.
Then after university, I moved to Scotland. That's where I really fell in love with whiskey. And the first whiskey that I actually tried was Glenfiddich. So it's amazing that this many years later I became an ambassador for the company. But I had, when I moved back to Canada in 2005, I worked for another company in various different roles and became a sommelier with them. And basically when Glenfiddich was seeking out an ambassador for their portfolio, I just heard about it and I applied, and that was back in 2011, and I was successful. So it was, pretty pumped, but 6 years later, here I am.
Yeah, that's awesome. And being an ambassador, you get to experience a lot of cool things. I'm sure you've gone to the distillery a few times.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
We'll get into that in a little bit. You just came back from a pretty cool trip.
Yes.
So how was Glenfiddich represented there at the New Orleans? Were they or?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. So William Grant & Sons has a lot of different brands under our portfolio, and we play a really major part in Tales of the Cocktail in New Orleans. So this was actually the first time I went down. A lot of my colleagues have been a few times, so I put together a little trip for a few of our salespeople, and we all headed down, and we really took part in all of the seminars and all the activations. But we do the opening party for Tales of the Cocktail, so Glenfiddich had a lot of presence there, and there was a lot of seminars that we were present at, so it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, very educational too.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's on my bucket list for sure to go to that. So
yes.
Hopefully, maybe next year, year after, we'll see. When the baby comes, then maybe I can bring my wife out there.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. I'm sure the whole family can go.
Tales of the... I'm sure my kids will love that. So
maybe what, in 19 and a half years.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yes, you guys can escape for a getaway before that for sure.
Yeah, well, we'll have to pass the kids off.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so the experimental series. How did this start? What's it all about?
So this is about thinking outside of the box, and you know, for a number of years, Glenfiddich's been making whiskey. Actually, Christmas Day this year will be our 130th anniversary. So we really pioneered the malt category back in 1963. We were the first distillery to release a single malt, and since then we've been obviously producing single malts. But with the experimental series, it was a whole way of thinking about whiskey a little bit differently, and the concept is unlearn whiskey. So with the IPA, this is the first, the thought about this was collaborating with somebody that we haven't necessarily collaborated with before, and doing something different for Scotch whiskey that's never been done before. So We found ourselves with a partner called Speyside Brewery, which is obviously in the Speyside region, in Scotland, and a brewer named Seb Jones, and he basically approached Glenfiddich and was like, "Do you want to work with me?" And Brian Kinsman was like, "You know what? Sure."
Yeah.
So that started a great relationship, and he created a few different IPAs before finding the right one to use for seasoning the barrels for this expression.
Okay. And the IPA for this, did it get sold after?
Yeah, now they're selling it. Speyside Brewery is selling it.
Very cool, very cool. I've had the luxury of trying these already, thanks to Beth here. And honestly, I'm in love with both of these. They're excellent whiskeys. The IPA was like just shockingly incredible though for me, because I'm not a big IPA beer fan.
Yeah.
I find it's a bit bitter, but you don't get any of that bitterness.
No, and I'm the same as you. Like I'm just starting to get into IPAs, and I can find some of them that hoppiness can be a little overwhelming, right? But I think this is kind of like a perfect balance. You get a little slight hint of it, and well, we can try it.
Yeah, let's go.
And but it's cheers. Those citrus notes are really, really vibrant.
Yeah. I posted a picture of the bottles I received, and there just happened to be oranges in the background, and it's funny because even you said in the picture, it goes really well with
oranges. Yeah. So we're that whole thought of like unlearning whiskey. We're actually thinking of different ways of serving this whiskey, and the perfect way that we're actually like, you know, when we're speaking to bars and restaurants, we're saying, you know, if over ice with just an orange zest is a really nice way to enjoy this. But it's because of those nice citrus notes in the whiskey.
You do get a ton of it.
And those hops, like you can get a slight hint of it on the nose.
Yeah.
That real Glenfiddich character obviously is very present, but it's just lovely complements of those citrus and hops.
And what I do get is that mineral type note that you'll get from a hoppy beer.
Yeah.
Right? And it's really, really nice in whiskey.
It is slightly higher in alcohol too. It's 43% as opposed to our core range, which is bottled at 40. So we did bring up the alcohol slightly here. We want to try it now.
Yeah, that's good.
So good.
Really good.
It's really good.
It is really good. It is really good, and it's priced really well as well in Ontario, which doesn't always happen for various whiskeys in Ontario, but for some reason this is priced really well, so we're really happy.
Yeah, we're really lucky. And actually, like across Canada, it should be about the same price. So you're looking at that $90 price range. Yeah. So it's still very affordable. It's beautiful, long finish. It's really bright.
I had to go in for a second.
It is Thursday. Thirsty Thursday.
Thirsty. Exactly.
But yeah, it's really bright, lovely long finish.
Excellent.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
You know what? And these are still quite new to me too. So like enjoying them here with you, like I haven't had a chance to try them very
just
often.
Sit and drink. Yeah. So I've shared already the IPA with a few people that have come to the house and stuff like that, and everybody that's tried it loves it.
Yeah.
Especially my beer drinking friends, and like most of my friends are not really whiskey drinkers; they're more beer drinkers, so they really appreciate the IPA a lot.
It's delicious.
Yeah,
I love it.
It is.
Makes me happy.
And like, it's so much more sweet than you would think, and just all those different things that you wouldn't expect an IPA beer to be, but the influence of, you know, the barley whiskey and then this IPA beer, it's a great combination.
Perfect combination.
Yeah.
And like, have you paired it with like having a beer on the side, or have you done like?
I did actually. My brother brought over a beer. I couldn't remember the name of the beer for the life of me, but he had just come back from his trip from Nova Scotia. Brought back a beer that had citrus elements to it.
Yeah.
There was a citrus influence, like blood oranges or something like that, and it was perfect together. They just kind of fluke, but it worked out really, really well.
That's the lucky thing here. Like, I mean, in Toronto, we have this big craft, like so many craft breweries, great craft breweries, and I've just been having a lot of fun, just testing out a lot of different beers and trying to find the perfect pairing. And there was a blood orange one that came out. There's a brewery down the street from me, Halo. Have you ever heard of it?
I haven't. No.
Oh, they make great beer, but they did a blood orange, like sour beer. It was a really interesting.
That sounds similar to what I tried. Yeah, maybe
delicious.
It might have been. Yeah, maybe it wasn't from Nova Scotia. I should ask him.
But yeah, I'm like, oh, it was just like a limited run. I'm like, oh, damn.
Yeah,
but
a lot of them do that. Like even the Mill Street Brewery, they'll come out with seasonal type beers. Yeah.
Short runs, but yeah, there's so many interesting things happening in and around the city.
Yeah, for sure. This is a great city after all. So
I know we're lucky.
We are
lucky.
We are.
Get spoiled here. But yeah, I'm super pumped about this, and after just coming out last week, we're really seeing some positive things. It's been available in Alberta for the past couple of months, but it's selling really, really well. So.
Yeah, and Alberta, there's a lot to choose from. So the fact that this is selling really well in Alberta, that's a really good sign.
We're really happy.
Yeah.
Very happy with finally happy to have them here because it's been available everywhere else.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
We've been held on. Yeah.
Patiently.
Exactly. But great stuff. Should we move on to the Project 20?
Yeah. Project 20 is another one that we're pretty pumped about. By pretty, I mean very. But
I just want to show you guys the glass really quick here because this is the new logo that Glenfiddich is going with. Hopefully the camera picks it up.
Yes. 11-point stag.
Yeah.
But the whole concept of the stag representation for Glenfiddich is Glenfiddich actually means Valley of the Deer, and that's why we actually have the stag on all of our bottles.
Yeah.
So, fun fact about Glenfiddich.
Honestly, these bottles are beautiful. I'm going to show the bottle as well.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, they are really, really nice.
And the tubes, we actually call these trowns, which is triangle and round at the same time.
Okay, there you go.
So yeah, I think they're beautiful too.
Yeah, they are gorgeous.
And this, the thumbprint actually is a kind of a cool part of the story of how Project 20 came about. And the thumbprint is a collaboration of 20 different thumbprints that make up this whiskey. So this one was a fun little project that came about back in June in 2015. Every June we have our Brand Ambassador Conference at Glenfiddich where all of the ambassadors from around the world get together. Now there's 24 of us. Back then there was 20 of us, so we're a growing team.
Yeah.
But all 20 of us were in a room, and then we got presented with this idea that we were going to be able to create our own whiskey. Like, how cool is that?
Yeah.
So we were with Brian Kinsman, our malt master, and they were like, okay. They just let us loose in warehouse number 2 at Glenfiddich, and they just basically said, choose your cask of whiskey. So we all just stumbled upon all of these different casks from different years and just essentially put your initials on them.
It's a tough job.
I know.
To try all these different types of whiskeys.
It really is. It's a hard job, but somebody's got to do it. So yeah, we basically selected all of these different casks, and a lot of people ended up selecting a bourbon cask because bourbon casks, they really reflect the true nature of Glenfiddich. That really nice Glenfiddich style shows through in the bourbon cask. So 17 bourbon casks were selected, so really high percentage of bourbon casks. Then there were 2 sherry casks that were selected, and then I found a port pipe, which doesn't really happen that often at Glenfiddich. We don't use a lot of port casks for aging our whiskeys. So when I saw that, I was like, that's really cool and quite different. So we threw 1 port pipe in there. So Canada stands out a little bit in this particular whiskey. So yeah, 17 bourbon barrels, 2 sherry and 1 port. We also have kept the alcohol higher on this as well, it's 47% alcohol. But it is an absolutely delicious dram, and totally in love with both of them.
It's fantastic.
But yeah, it's so good.
Beautiful nose on this one. You can tell there's so much going on in this. It's weird because it's like you said, it's only 5% port influenced. But
yeah, just like but you get those fruit notes are definitely.
You get them, yeah. You do pick it up.
Yeah, those, and again, like, still quite new. These whiskeys are so new to me that like having them here is quite. Like I haven't had a chance to try them right now.
Yeah. Super sweet nose. You do get the signature notes of a port pipe, in my opinion, which is kind of strange. Like you said, it's 1 of 20, but.
Well, and they're for sure.
But they're dominant. They're port and sherry. They can tend to be like more noticeable than a bourbon. You know what I mean? So a bourbon cask. Sorry.
You're getting those classic kind of like Christmas cake notes are coming through. A little bit of dried fruit. Those vanilla notes definitely are quite bright as well. Is there anything else that you're getting?
I don't know if it's my nose today, but I feel like I'm picking up like the smallest hint of heat, like a little bit
hint of smokiness from
there. Were there any barrels that contained some?
No, but like I mean everyone's different, and but yeah, no, I do get a hint of that smoke. It could also be just like a wood smoke. But yeah, there's a.
What's the?
But I do get that slight hint to. I'm totally seeing.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm. Yeah, maybe it is the barrel smoke, but.
Yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Really That's so funny because I've never picked that up until you.
It's funny how talking about a whiskey makes you pick up so much more of the whiskey, and that's why like sometimes because I'm alone on my channel most of the time, I embrace these types of moments because
you're talking to the crowd.
Sometimes you forget when there's another person. Sometimes you forget there's a camera there.
but no, it's the nose is beautiful.
Yeah, it really is, and you do pick up the sherry as well, which is super nice. It's just a beautiful nose on this one. And we didn't talk about the percentage, did we?
Yeah, so higher percentage, 47%.
47%.
So that was also like a decision that the ambassadors made. We wanted to keep it non-chill filtered, keep it over that 46% alcohol. But the alcohol, it doesn't smell like that hot on the nose.
No, you don't get that heat. And what I think a lot of people appreciate is like they've been wanting higher,
for sure.
ABV Glenfiddich, and now that they have it, they're gonna love it.
We get a lot of requests for that, most definitely. We've had the Glenfiddich 15-year-old distillery edition available in the LCBO and across Canada for a number of years, but it's actually being discontinued. So we're happy that we're able to continue to offer a cash strength Glenfiddich.
Yeah.
Now we have to try it.
We have to taste this.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I love it.
Yeah. You definitely get that bourbon aged feel. You get the vanilla notes for sure. But then it kind of like breaks down as you're tasting it, and like towards like mid palate, you're getting that sherry and port influence, I find.
Yeah. Again, like the finish is just amazing, and
the finish is really good.
That alcohol is like the heat definitely isn't there in the mouthfeel either, but so good.
Yeah, really good.
It's a tasty whiskey.
It is.
The fruit is definitely there.
Mm-hmm.
That vanilla, just really good whiskey.
Mm-hmm. You guys can't go wrong with either of these. For those of you craving the higher ABV, you're definitely gonna love this one for $100 at the LCBO.
Yeah, $99.99, $99.95.
Yeah, and then the beer drinker is definitely gonna easily transition into this one because you'll pick up the beer notes, and if you love Scotch already as it is, that's a great one to pick up for $90. They're both really, really great expressions in my opinion. I love what Glenfiddich is doing now. They're doing all these different things, and they've always had the special releases, like the Malt Masters, I think it was called.
Yeah, so Malt Master, we brought out Snow Phoenix, highly collectible whiskey, the original. Yeah. So we have a lot of innovation, and that's due to the fact that we're a family-owned company. You know, we can do things the way that we want to do it. But this is really kind of breaking the mold and bringing new whiskey drinkers into the category. Like you said, like the beer drinker who might not necessarily drink whiskey. You know, see this.
Easy transition.
Yeah, exactly.
Easy transition.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, super cool. And honestly, both of these are awesome. If you haven't picked up a Malt Master already, I think there's a few
bottles, honestly.
Not many, but go
so
pick
good.
it up because that is one of the best whiskeys I've had, period.
Yeah, it's definitely a favorite amongst whiskey fans everywhere.
Yeah.
Definitely, I know here at the bar that we're currently at, that it's definitely a staff favorite. Everyone yesterday was in there like, Beth, I picked up my bottle of Malt Master.
There you go, yeah. There's a few empties up here of the Malt Master. Maybe I'll take some pictures and you guys can check them out on my Instagram. But yeah, actually, why don't we talk about this place a little bit?
Because
there's definitely a Glenfiddich association with where we're at today, which is the Caledonian in Toronto.
Yeah. This is, we've been working with the Caledonian since I started. They've been open, I think, now for 6 years. And we're sitting in the Glenfiddich Bothy. So this is a room that was built back in 2013. We do a lot of tastings in here. It's got a definite Glenfiddich feel.
Yeah. Tables, benches.
Yeah, there's a nice it's a nice kind of homey Glenfiddich room. But yeah, we do a lot of tastings here, and they do tastings for like with all whiskey ambassadors, and whenever anyone in the whiskey world is in town, they tend to stop at the Caledonian. Yeah. Donna, the owner, is from Scotland, and she's from not too far outside of the distillery, a place called Huntley.
Yeah, she was telling me 10 miles away from is the distillery, so that's pretty cool.
And she she had a family member who actually worked for one of the William Grant family members, so it was a really close association. So we've worked really, really closely with them. And back in 2013, Donna and I started a women whiskey group, which we hold every 2 months. And usually there's like a gathering of about 60 to 80 women that come.
Wow.
Try some whiskey, and we do it all for charity, like it's just through donations. So it's.
I should wear a wig.
I know.
Hand out some cards then.
It's awesome. We have a wonderful time. It's so fun. But yeah, fortunately that's the one taste you can't.
Especially with this, I'm not gonna be able to get in there.
But yeah, I do other tastings here as well. But it's a great spot in the city. They have some really nice, a huge selection. Of malts, as you were admiring earlier.
I was admiring, browsing. It's a beautiful place. I highly recommend you guys come down here because it's got a huge selection. I think she said over 300 types of scotch.
Yeah.
Which is kind of unheard of. Like now they're starting to pop up a few more, but this was one of the first to have that kind of idea.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Super cool. And then you get that feel from like that Scottish feel because Donna is Scottish, and it's really cool.
Yeah, they have a big Scottish food menu as well. They do their traditional haggis.
The haggis,
yeah. So if you're in the mood for some haggis, you can definitely come here. But yeah, and it's just a fun kind of family vibe for sure.
Yeah. Well, Beth, this was awesome.
So much fun. Thank you so much for having me on. And
I appreciate you having me here and having me, and all of the things that we've done together so far, as far as reviewing various things. Like, I really appreciate everything that Glenfiddich and yourself has offered. So.
Well, thank you for loving whiskey as much as you do, and sharing your passion with everyone here in Toronto and across Canada and around the world. Thanks to your YouTube channel, but. No, thanks so much for the opportunity.
Awesome. This is
great.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, guys. Cheers.
Cheers.